Welcome to our Fleet Farm pregame show, visiting with Mosinee Indians softball manager Cody Brietzke. Coach, first off, let's just talk about this season, kind of reflect on it a little bit. 26-1, including the playoff wins. What's been the secret sauce for you in your first year as the coach of the softball team, and with these girls? What's been the secret to the success this year?
A lot of it comes to the relationship that I have with them prior to the season. I've known most of them. I've taught fifth grade here in Mosinee, so I had most of them actually, which was definitely a benefit. But when I got hired in October, I met with all of the players and just said, "Here's our goals." I had a survey sent out, and I've been talking about their goals all year. And I'm a very player first coach, so and they know that, so they all have my cell phone number. If they don't seem like they're okay, I send out a text to them at night. They've been all very open to responding. I also sent out a survey about what is one thing that you want your coach to know that you don't feel comfortable telling him in person. I had actually a lot of them tell me in person, but they opened up, and I think that connection and relationship with the players is key. I just did that with JV baseball, and even in my classroom too. It's just more along the lines of the relationship. But then I spent a lot of time with them on the mental game, just knowing that this is a game of failure. So is baseball. You're going to fail a lot, and how to. So I brought in some ideas from some books that I read. And they bought into it and they ran with it. So I think that plays a huge role in the success. And then we just focus one game at a time, one inning at a time, and one pitch at a time. There's no tomorrow if we don't do our job today, ultimately. So
I thought about last year's playoff a little bit. You weren't coaching the team then, but it was a regional final game at home. New London came to town, in a very tight, very fun game for me as an unbiased source to come and watch that game. But a game that New London went on to win, and actually went on to as a state runner-up last year in a quote easy game against Wapaka, and then here's New London again on Tuesday in a sectional game. Was there any remembrance of New London from the girls from last year?
I try to tell the girls it's an every year thing. As new players come in, they lose players, we've lost players, and so on. And again, it's just that idea of one game at a time. And then we spent a lot of time on talking about our non-conference games too. I try to teach them to reflect on the game, give or take half hour, 45 minutes after, to reflect on the game, but then move on. You can't change anything. We can't change the results. Nothing. The only thing that matters is the practice the next day or the game the next day, and just moving forward. Our game against Spash was awesome. A lot of girls know each other. And then for us to go out and compete and to do the little things was great for them to see. And just knowing that they can compete with a higher D1 school, bigger school, I guess you can say. But then, yeah, the new London game, they had their chip on their shoulder for sure. But that was probably the best softball game I've seen in my whole, obviously, 1 year. But even talking JV baseball, that's the best game I've been part of. Both sides, defensively, doing little things right. I mean, there was probably 3 or 4 or 5 double plays in the game. Like it was fun. It was definitely enjoyable.
It was a 3-0 win. Moving on now to Thursday. I think back to just the very last thing, because I want to talk about your defensive fundamentals about Tuesday. The game ends on a 6-4-3 double play, and it was a pretty double play, as you're going to see turned. How much confidence do you have in your girls to execute those little things?
I really promote telling them that they have to trust themselves first. That I have full confidence in them. It's been fortunate to have the same lineup, the same defense pretty much all year. Obviously, with no pitching limits, it's a little bit different for softball, so I don't have to worry about that too much. But again, I have to give credit to baseball. I've brought a lot of what I've learned through Mosinee baseball program and Adam Olson, and the practice. As much as we don't like keeping it routine. We always do infield, outfield the same way. Just as we're going to do pregame, it's the same way every day. We practice double plays. We do all of that stuff, bunt defense, everything that we could see. We spend anywhere from 10 to a half hour of doing that every day, and then we hit. We really focus on the fundamentals, and then we hit as much as possible. And then I always finish with a game where the girls have really bought into that, and a competitive game where they can be chippy at each other and have fun, and then we focus, and then we end the practice with a talk. So
let's talk about tonight's game. You've got Rice Lake coming to Altoona. Winner gets to go to state. So there's obviously it's a big game. The biggest game you've played so far this year. Let's talk within the circle. Tell us about your pitcher pitching tonight.
Ava Bussey, she's been our rock all year. She's sophomore, so I'm very fortunate to have her for a few more years. But it's the confidence thing. We started very rocky, as I call all of the pitches. So that was new having her. I have to give her a lot of credit. Having a new baseball guy coming in, and then all of a sudden calling pitches. But that's the communication that I have with her. She comes up to me, what's working, what's not. But yeah, and I've told every single player, even our role players in the dugout, we wouldn't be in this position if we didn't have every single one of the girls that's part of this team. So from Addie Straits in the outfield to Amber to Maggie to Emily at third, like we would not be here. Even Alana, who didn't want to catch at the beginning of the year, and I talked her into that, and she committed to doing it and has done absolutely phenomenal. So and then obviously getting Tristan back is such a big key for us at first. And we have girls that can hit, so it's fun.
Let's talk about the hitting. We'll wrap it up with this, Coach, as we get ready for first pitch just around the corner. The first time through your lineup, so those first couple innings of this game, what do you need to see? What do you expect to see out of your hitters?
It's been our kryptonite all year. Our first time through the lineup, we struggle. And then it's always talking about the adjustments that we can make individually and and as a team, what adjustments we can make to get better. We always tend to struggle the first time through the lineup. Why? I'm not sure. But then that second and third time through the lineup, we make the adjustments, and then we start hitting the ball really hard.
Manager Cody Brietzke, best of luck against Rice Lake.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
First pitch coming up next on Zaleski Sports.
Want to save even more at Fleet Farm? Well, now you can with Fleet Rewards. It's free to sign up, and there's no credit card required. Using Fleet Rewards is easy. Earn points every time you shop. Plus, get exclusive member offers, birthday and anniversary perks, free tire rotations, and more. Download the Fleet Farm app or create an account at fleetfarm.com/rewards to start earning points today. Fleet Farm, proudly serving the Midwest since 1955.